Pro boxing fans, we are here in Riyadh. Johnny Nelson, good to see you, mate. You were on my flight. I was trying to see if you had your mouth open while sleeping, but couldn't see you, man. You were probably in first class somewhere, mate.
No, I wasn't. You know, I turned right, Jed. And I just felt I'm just so disgusting. It was all right. The flight was packed out, man. It was all right. It was nice to see everybody piling out. So as the days have gone on, and it's slowly but surely the momentum's building. But you know what? This bill, from top to bottom, it's one of the first fights I thought, wow. I put a bet on only 2 fights to go the distance at the whole lot, but it's going to be a wicked show, wicked fight.
Let's break it down, man. The last crescendo, obviously the main men, Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol. I got to speak to both of them yesterday. Both looking very good, very confident. There was a lot of talk about sort of Beterbiev maybe starting a bit too late, Bivol catching the early rounds. For you, how do you see this one playing out compared to the first fight?
I think the right man won the first fight. I don't disagree with the decision. I think it was as a gamble. Beterbiev started at pace, finished at the same tempo. Bivol started slow, stepped it up midway through, dropped off at the end. So you can see how the fans were frustrated and thought, no, my man won because his pace changed up and down. But Beterbiev was consistent all the way through. I think after that fight, Bivol realised, I had a lot more left in the tank, and I probably could have maintained a higher pace all the way through. This is what I expect this time. I expect his pace to be higher. I expect his finish to be stronger, and he's kind of said it himself. He said he had more left in the tank, so that means he was second guessing himself. I think Beterbiev, I don't think he can improve on what he did. Because at the age he's at, the pace he's at, and how he fights, that's him. I don't think his pace will go higher. It'll just stay consistent.
I spoke to him because he came off an injury coming into that fight, and I said to him, listen, at some point did your legs start feeling heavy because you've come back from an injury, you've had surgery and stuff? And he said, listen, I did feel it a little bit towards it in that fight. This time around he's obviously coming brand new camp, good couple of months later. You've said that he probably might not be able to improve, but do you reckon he can start faster than he did in the last fight?
No, I just think he'll stay stronger, and his pace will stay consistent, and that's it, So and if that is the case, it's Bivol that's the one that's going to make the changes. Remember, he lost the last time officially, so he's the one that's going to make the changes.
Eddie Hearn was saying it was a robbery last time. Did you feel like it was a robbery? Because, obviously emotions are one thing at the time.
I think Eddie was trying to talk himself into a fight with Beterbiev. He talks a great fight, Eddie. He's got to do that. That's what a promoter's job is. He's got to big up his boy and take care of his charge. So I understand Eddie saying that, but that's just how I saw it. And listen, it's subjective. Everybody had an opinion of the fight. That's just how I saw the fight.
I spoke to Peter Fury about this fight, and he said Beterbiev just got to keep targeting that body, keep hitting the trunk until the tree falls down. Do you feel like that is the way for him to stop Bivol's movement?
He's got to box offensively all the way through and be strong. If he did have it was kind of an injury, it's not that all of a sudden he's going to step up 100 miles an hour. He's got to be super strong going through and trying to punch through the target. And if Bivol's stupid enough to try and fight fire with fire, that's the worst thing he can do. Bivol's a good technical fighter, a technical boxer and fighter, so he's got to make sure that he uses them both, because I think Beterbiev is a better fighter, Bivol's a better boxer.
Joseph Parker saying he's going to be facing the best Daniel Dubois that we've ever seen. Is that the case? Are we getting the best Daniel Dubois right now, especially after such a big win against Anthony Joshua? That momentum is with him. He seems to be powerful, knocking people out. But do you feel like Joseph Parker is going to be seeing the best Daniel Dubois?
I do agree with you. I think Daniel Dubois has gone with confidence. The way he manhandled Anthony Joshua in his last fight, showed strength, showed a fight that truly believes himself. Went into the Lions then. Near to 100,000, 95,000 people at Wembley. He showed how he handled the pressure, even how after the fight, how he conducted himself. You're seeing a 27-year-old kid that's really believing in himself. And so now, after all the tests of character, tests of heart, tests of, I can deal with a bombardment of public critique. He's now managed to just ignore it. I think, I can do this now. I just needed to believe in myself. Joseph Parker, I think he'll come in at career heaviest on Friday. Back looks massive. And I think he's doing that to, one, absorb the natural strength and punch power of Daniel Dubois, and two, to hold his ground. Because if you saw how Daniel manhandled AJ in the fight, it showed an unprecedented strength. But Joseph Parker's technically the better boxer. the fighter, the best fighter, is Danny Dubois. So it's a case of who's going to impress their talent on the other most.
Do you feel like them dark times that Daniel's been through, because he's been through a few where he's been, people called him a quitter, called him everything, that's just made him a lot stronger to the man that he is now. It seems to have from the outside, but you're a fighter, which is why
I recognise that. Listen, I got a lot of criticism in the early part of my career, and it either makes you or breaks you, and it made me, because you've got to a point where you don't care what the public says, you've got to prove it to yourself. So all those questions and all those things that are called him or are being said about him, he's heard them, and at first he probably thought, well, is it true? He's proved to himself, you know what, they actually don't know me because I proved I can get up off the floor, I proved I can dig in deep, I proved I'm a giant slayer. So now it doesn't matter what anybody says. It probably did hurt him a little bit, but he's been single-minded enough to ignore the criticism.
Joseph Parker, just on him quickly, obviously he's been through a resurgence as well. When he fought Joe Joyce, a lot of people said he was finished and maybe he'll just be fighting, around, the outside the top 5, just keeping people busy, but he's come on and shown what a great fighter he is.
Yes, he has. And remember when he came along, you thought he was just making up the numbers with Anthony Joshua in 2016, and then he's again grown into the fighter he is now. So to compare those wins that to Danny Dubois against Zhilei Zhang and against Deontay Wilder. Remember, these guys are near 40 years old, so both of them were bangers. Man past and Wilder well past his best, but Jones did an excellent job in making sure he boxed for both of them. But now he's in against a 27-year-old version of the mix of the both of them. Strong, aggressive, can punch. So that style, what Joseph's got, he's got to be able to adapt it to a younger man, because this young man's pace will be consistent and strong with it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So the wins are good wins, but now you've got to see he's in against a live opponent, a young, fresh lion, a hungry champion, what makes a dangerous champion. So that's why this one is it's going to be a lot harder, a lot tougher, and a lot more dangerous.
Out of the top 2 fights, we're not even outside of the top 2 fights, which fight really excites Johnny Nelson?
Well, 4 o'clock we come on air, and who is it? It's Smith against Boaz. Come on, man. That could fill an arena back home. And I'm like, when this fight was made, I thought, am I missing something? As Smith dropped a level. What's going on? Because this is a tough fight, a dangerous fight, and this fight to me, if it's an inside the distance job, that means Smith has stopped Boaz. If it's a chop job on points, that means Boaz has beat Smith up on points. But I don't see Boaz stopping him, but I do see Smith having the ability to stop Boaz. So that's why this fight is so intriguing.
Another fight that I find intriguing, that probably might not get talked about as much, is Madrimov and Virgil Ortiz. Madrimov showed how much of a great fighter he is. Virgil Ortiz, we know what he's about. It seems to be the fight on the card that doesn't get talked about the most, but what do you make of that one?
As I said, I think maybe 2 fights will go the distance on Saturday night, and that's the fight. The other fight I think will go the distance. Obviously the main fight will go the distance as well. I think Ortiz is tough. Magramov's a good fighter, but I think Ortiz should just have enough to pip him at the post.
Final 2 from myself. Canelo Crawford, obviously September, that's going to be happening in the States from Ring Magazine. Talk to me about that one, man. How do you see that one playing out? Because there's a lot of talk about what weight is going to be and everything else, but how do you see it playing out?
I think Crawford is a brilliant fighter. I think sometimes certain fighters bite off more than they can chew. I think on this occasion, he's probably biting off more than he can chew. I think for Canelo's, you think he's not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is beats 95% of the fighters out there. My man's jumping up a couple of weights. He's going in there with a strong version of Canelo. And you saw Canelo was with Triple G. So unless Crawford's going to be strong enough to keep him keep him chasing him all night through, I just don't know how he's going to match that kind of fighter.
Final one before I let you go, because I know you've got to go back on Sky, but Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is happening obviously April 26th. His dad obviously seen his come out and said, listen, he's probably going to boycott it for various reasons that he's showed in the past, concerns in the past. Do you see why he's doing that?
I understand that, but who really cares? That's his dad and his son. That's their relationship, and that's how he deals with it. And if he's comfortable in doing that, that's between a man and his son. If I was his father, I'd rock up. You know, regardless of what you personally think, you know, you'd want to rock up to support your boy. And that's my personal opinion. You know, if Chris Senior chooses not to be in the mix, that's his call. Does it make any difference? I don't believe it does. Junior has conducted this latter part of his career without his father at hand, so it don't make any difference.
John Nelson, always a pleasure, sir. We'll see you this week. Look after yourself, and catch you soon, mate.
So we roll, baby. Thank you.